Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I'm back with another targeted individual interview for you guys. I got Aisha from Oregon, and she wants to tell you guys her story and her situation about this whole targeting thing. We spoke briefly beforehand, and um, we kind of have a different perspective of what's going on. But as you guys know, I like to let everybody tell their own story of what they've been through and how they believe all of these things work. And the first thing I thought about when we got on the phone is I said, "How do you say your name?" And she was like, "Aisha," and it just made me think of that song, "Aisha, you are the girl that I never had." So anyway, how you doing today?
Um, all right, I guess a little bit.
Okay, well, welcome to my
Um,
channel.
mhm, all right.
I appreciate you
So,
coming on to tell your story. I know you said this is like the first time you really come out talking about this stuff, and it takes a lot of bravery to do that. I've been through that, and in the beginning, it was really rough, and a lot of people got a lot of bad things to say, especially people that don't understand this and haven't been going through this, and they got a lot of names to call, and so it's a big step. It's a big step to do
yeah,
this.
yeah. Definitely, been suffering with synthetic telepathy abuse for about four years, right? And it started with moving into my new apartment. I started having um suicidal thoughts and just acting kind of strange stuff around the place. Like everyone around me was acting crazy and stuff. And then I started hearing like people talking about me on the other side of the wall, and I thought it was my neighbors talking about me. And so I would just sit there and just be forced to listen to what all these like what the what the voices had to say about me. And
That's one of the most common things when you have somebody that lives on the other side of a wall.
mm,
That's like the number one thing that gang stalkers like to play around with to make you believe that it's the neighbors directly next to you. But it can be, and there is situations where it is, and it is possible. But a lot of times they like to play with that one because they can make it seem like that's where the voices are coming from with the broadcast. So,
yeah.
what did you
Um,
discover?
what?
What did you discover? That do you think that it was them or no?
Um, yeah, I thought it was them, but I actually knew all my neighbors, so I'm kind of like asking, like, trying to play this game of figuring out, who was doing this around me, and so I was like figuring out, who's talking and stuff, and I literally like try to like plug my ears, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could still hear it, and that's when I figured out that it wasn't people talking through the wall, it was in my ears. So when I like um was like going around, I was going to these other the rooms downstairs, and I found out no one was down there and that they were playing as, and I was like, what? I was like, they're not even there. And so after that, it started getting worse and worse. They started making it like a 24/7. It was constant, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like repeatedly, like skip CD, and I just couldn't function anymore. It was like uh, what do you call it? Uh, Flashes of thoughts and memories mapped out, and just man, I just forgot everything. But yeah, uh, definitely started playing a game of who it would have been, um, and I was like having them make me see things, and they started making me see stuff, and uh, man, I just forgot. They just made me stop thinking about everything. Anyways,
So
What was the question again?
you said this has been going on for 4 years.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah. And when it was constantly the voices or the words in my ears, they started to cause me to like walk pacing back and forth in my house, and I couldn't even function to like do anything because I was like forced to walk back and forth and forced to just sit there and not move out of the bed for a long time. And uh, it would kind of force a addiction on me because they thought it was funny how it would be, you know. So it would make everyone like talk crap about me and stuff like that. Anyways, so I after that I became pregnant, and it was getting worse. And as my son was pretty big, they were forcing him to move around my stomach for sure, and it hurt so bad. It was so bad. As soon as I figured out who it was, they targeted my unborn child to make me think about doing anything to them. And I basically figured out because they were reading my thoughts when I was sitting there, and I was like, they were, of course, torturing me that night, and then I was like, it's you. And then they're like, trying to figure out ways to like calm everything down, and then they targeted my son. And for months, it just wouldn't stop moving. And so his head was on top, and then it would be on the bottom, even through the what do you call it? The things that you get,
the ultrasound.
Ultrasounds. His head was on the other bottom, on the bottom, and then it, like next week he would be on top. And usually babies are supposed to stay in one place. So that's when I knew that they were like really having him going around in circles.
Right.
And,
yeah, that's unfortunate. And, I'm sorry to hear that. I saw a post. I forget who it was the other day. Somebody was saying, is it a good idea to have a child when you're targeted, or would that child become targeted? And just knowing from firsthand experience that these gang stalkers, they're evil people. They have no remorse or regard. And if you are on remote neural monitoring, they will definitely put your child and your elderly grandmother and your best friend and your spouse and everybody around you. They'll put all of them on remote neural monitoring just to assist in the targeting of you. And it is like a conspiracy to destroy you.
yeah.
So
when I finally moved out of the place, that's when it got worse. They were sending people over to them. People that were in the neighborhood would go to my house, and that's when I figured out the connection, the people he was using to come over and to do more stuff to me. And definitely with mind controlling them to come to my house. And trying to act like it was them or something, or even force them to walk all the way over there, and or use certain people to video call me and connect with me, as I believe he's a psychic and would possess other people to come over and start more torture.
okay, well, personally, I don't believe in magic or sorcery and or psychics, and I don't think that that's how mind control works. But a lot of people have told me a lot of different experiences. From my own personal experience, um, I believe that somebody that would consider themselves psychic may be very tuned in to receiving broadcasts. and humans in general, we're broadcasting anyway. Like everything that we think and that's going on our processes in our mind is emitting from us um, through EMF, and somebody that's very receptive to that could be perceived as a psychic. So I believe that some people are more receptive than others, and it probably has to do with empathy and intuition. Um, but I don't believe in magic and this technology. A lot of people say it's witchcraft and sorcery and things like that, but it is technology and it is broadcast. Um, but they definitely can make you very suspicious of a lot of things.
Yeah. They told me one time that they praying one time and they heard "God damn it, God damn it, God damn it," and they were hearing it and they were wondering where it came from when they were in the church, and figured out it was the person in front of them, which was the Stalkers. So with me being one of the victims, I hear God damn it," because that was his first time he found out that he had the ability to read people's minds.
Well, these gang stalkers that I deal with, they say that all the time too. They're always saying GD and effing this and effing that. They start out their sentences with effing. I'm effing this and
Yeah,
I'm effing
yeah,
that and blah. And
yeah.
it's just what kind of people they are. And
Mm-hmm.
from what I've seen, a lot of different people get access to mind control, to EMF mind control neural monitoring, to remote neural monitoring, and how they use it really varies in a lot of ways. But the ones that become gang stalkers are the addicts, and they become addicted to mind control just like before they got mind control, and then even now they're addicted to drugs and they have addictive personalities, and they become addicted to being on mind control, to receiving other people, and it's a lot like a drug to them. So usually
Mm-hmm.
they were drug addicts, and then they became addicted to mind control, and then they basically adopted gang stalking, just like a drug user would adopt middleman, or actually selling drugs to support their own habit. And that's what gang stalkers, they're gang stalking because they love this, and it helps to support them to be on mind control 24/7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when I asked them why they did this to me, they went through like a meditative state. And that's when I heard something brand new and what they were really saying to me right in front of me. And they were just silent and just like looked on the side and just kind of like looked like they just kind of like left their bodies. And then they just told me why they they did this to me. And that's what I heard and stuff. And
Right.
basically knowing I was like sitting there, for a long time, just he would just put a movie on and just would be doing stuff to me, in like my mind the whole time, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. I couldn't take care of myself. I was just sitting there and I couldn't even drink water or eat or
Right. Well, let me
to
ask you,
have.
how is all of this affecting your life?
How does it affect my life now?
Right.
Um, it affects me because everyone around me is affected. All my friends, everyone that's close to me, is some part or some way of their game that's gonna play with me. If they want someone to do something to me, it'll happen. Um, so that's how it's affected me. They'll say, okay, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna be homeless, and they'll say homeless, homeless. So they'll get someone to turn against me and do all these things to achieve that goal of something that I would fear.
Right.
So
Well,
definitely it's really hard because everyone is controlled around me, and it really hurts. Sometimes I don't want to be close to a lot of my family members because I don't want them to be part of that
right.
to get to me. Yeah.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I want you to know that um, ultimately, even though sometimes it could seem that way, everyone's not in on it. And um, you really can't
Yeah, I know
isolate
no one's
yourself.
I know no one's in on it. I just know that they're mind controlled from things they say and things that I would only know that they're saying based on what they believe or whatever they're making up in my mind is what they will do. It's kind of overwhelming to know what I'm thinking is all of a sudden that's what they're saying and what they're doing. And it's just kind of like a same thing over and over again. If people will say the same thing. It's just, yeah.
Well, my advice would be to stay very determined to be successful. And even though there's risks and things are going to happen, um, don't isolate yourself. Don't get off the internet with your social media. Don't stop talking to people. The more people you talk to, the more associations you make, the more success you have, the more goals you meet. Make goals and meet those goals. Just stay very determined and driven. And that's ultimately what they want to take away from you. And
Yeah.
if you can figure out um, how to exploit what it is that they're doing and use it for motivation rather than letting it um, get you depressed or get you down about things, use it for motivation and refuse to fail or be defeated, and become very determined for success and
Mm-hmm.
to overcome this. And that's what I've done. I've used all of this as a motivation, as a fuel.
Mm-hmm.
They fuel my
Yeah.
fire every day.
Mm, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard because I can lose control of my body and like everything, my whole body can be totally taken over and I can be doing stuff, saying things that I'm not even trying to say at all. Um, that's where it kind of hurts my life, because maybe I want to drive a car or maybe want to do these other things, but I don't have control of my body sometimes, and
I've not experienced that as far as mind control. I've not experienced mind control working in that type of way.
mhm. And definitely knowing that I always suffer memory loss. I always forget things. Like when I'm talking right now, sometimes I know what I'm going to say, but then they take it away, and I don't even know what I'm saying at all. And then it's really hard to remember all these things because I'll like count money or all that, and then make me forget it, and I have to count it like 5 times, and then
I wish I had that problem.
I even forgot how old my daughter was. That's how bad it got.
Oh wow.
Or even yeah, or even where I lived. I even tried to walk like to my house, and I didn't even know where I was. And that's like really how bad it gets sometimes. I don't know what I'm doing or don't know what I'm saying. It's really hard fight, especially with them affecting my emotions and changing my emotions to where I could be crying, I could be laughing, I could be really, really angry, I could be, any way they want me to.
Well, it does get confusing when a lot of times when you're connected to people, they're connected to you, so in turn you're connected to them. It is a two-way connection, and although you don't have the same devices that they have, like the mind control headset, you're still receiving them, and it can be confusing. Sometimes you may feel some type of way that's really not your feelings, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah, I definitely
connected to
know
people that are
that they
not
can.
very stable. They're not successful. They're not stable. They're addicted to drugs and mind control. They do a lot of strange things. They do a lot of evil things. I don't know if they have a burden weighing on them, but you would think that they would have to go through some depressing phases. And if they're connected to you, broadcasting to you, then you may feel some of what they're feeling at times. And it can be very confusing trying to decipher what is somebody else, what are you receiving, and what's actually the way you feel. So you have to try to be really in tune with that and know yourself.
Yes, I do know. I do know. Definitely very hard uh, to do, but it's really good. I mean, I try to do as best as I can, and knowing that usually through the end of my torture, they will, I'll go through like a knocked out state, like everything just turns off. I feel like they just give me like a brain damage. I believe that if you say a certain amount of responses, like number of times repeated, it causes that sudden blackness, like being knocked out, or I don't really know, but
What I've
um,
experienced, and
feels like death.
I put a video out about 2 days ago that says the title is why you suddenly feel very tired on remote neural monitoring, and in that video I explained how they use broadcast and how it can make you very sleepy instantly. A lot of people talked about being knocked out, and they've never like they don't. Not that I realized they've never knocked me out, but I mean I was getting so
I mean,
sleepy at work.
it wasn't like a knockout. I mean, it wasn't like I just fell asleep. It was.
Yeah, it
I mean,
gets
I
like
feel like someone killed me, basically.
I could hardly stay awake. Like in my job, I'm up moving around, and I still was like, wow. Like and I came out and I turned on my meter and it was I turned on my meter like this. I was just turned it on and it was at 300 and something. Right now it's at 44, 45, just like it should be. Um, I've caught them with the broadcast turned on like 7 times on video today. I've got those out earlier today. But that day, it was like 2 days ago, it was at 300 and something. And I went on to talk about what it is that they're doing and why we suddenly can feel very sleepy when they're using our broadcast, because it does the same thing to them. They end up in this, they call it being catatonic. They go into this subconscious sleep state when they're living as a broadcast, and when they broadcast us, um, so they can have the EMF video of whatever it is they're using our hologram broadcast for. I think that's what's going on when it really makes us very sleepy. And if we had the headset on, we would probably just fall asleep into that state like they do. Um, but yeah, if you want to check that out, it kind of talks about that. So,
Yeah.
how,
Well, I mean, I don't really believe that there's technology involved. I believe it's these people have gifts, and it's their sixth sense, and
right?
to know like that, sat there and seen this person do this to me, and how easy it was for them to just do something real quick and then just pick it out and then just put it back in. And I mean, there was no technology involved. I mean, the only technology involved was the video call, and that's how they can come back into you.
Well, that's where we were disagreeing when we spoke earlier. And personally, I don't believe in witchcraft or sorcery.
Well, it's not
Or
witchcraft, but
well, I
it's
mean,
just
I
like
don't
an
really believe
ability.
in people having special gifts like psychicness or things like that. I believe that some people are more in tune with receiving what other people are giving off. But it's definitely a technology assisted type of thing that remote neural monitoring has going on. But as far as like just normal people, me and you, I could be very intuitive or empathetic and really receive because we're putting off a lot, our waves. It's just how it works. But it's okay. We're definitely allowed to disagree, and there's a lot of people that are right along with you, thinking that it has a lot to do with other things like that. There's all sorts of theories and ideas and beliefs out there. I just like to say what I believe, and I definitely like to allow other people to say what they think, and then everybody else can create their own perspective from that. But yeah, I was wondering, you're out there in Oregon. My buddy Tim that I had on here a couple of times, he's pretty big. Timothy Young, he's pretty big talking about all of this stuff, and um, he's out there in Oregon. So how is it out there right now? Is it getting cold or?
Um, well, I moved out of Oregon to Washington recently. It was a lot easier to get away from what causes most of my struggle,
Okay.
um, like sending people over all the time to like get me intoxicated in some way or form, which causes um, the forced conversations and results into the blackness of what I believe is the purgatory between the life and death. And so it was a lot better to get out of it when I moved out of Oregon.
Yeah, I've actually talked to quite a few people in Washington as well. I guess at this point, I've really talked to quite a few people everywhere, even in other countries, about this stuff. Um,
Hmm.
because I kind of think about it, and it's like you couldn't really say a place where couldn't say I've talked to some people there that are going. This is worldwide. This broadcast problem is something that's going on everywhere.
Hmm.
This remote neural monitoring and these gang stalking thing is going on everywhere,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
mean, I mean, what really got me was when they would actually move things, objects around me all the time. Uh, my TVs and everything, touch the buttons on my phone, and uh, yeah, just move objects to scare the shit out of me, which is really scary. I mean, to see things like moving around was really, scary, and that's when I know that they do have that ability. I mean, it's not like I was seeing it; it was really, moving.
well, I'll be honest with you. I don't think that it's. I've seen them with a broadcast like a hologram. I've seen them causing like a leaf to sway. I seen like a broadcasted guy out there, and he was smacking the leaf back and forth, and it was just barely moving, just barely moving. But as far as like a solid object fixed somewhere, I've never seen them be able to move an object like that. I've seen them use broadcast to make things appear to move, but then it just kind of blurs back into place, and most people can't even see broadcast that well. Um, but so that's not something that I've experienced with
Mm-hmm.
actual objects moving. So I have heard a couple other people say that though.
Yeah, um, definitely. I will occasionally see things move around or fall and break, and uh, basically, yeah, here and there, I'll see something hit, bang, and stuff like that.
There's an earthquake.
Yeah, fucking,
I'm
I
just
don't know, just
uh,
some shit will fucking fly around, or I mean, not like fly, but move
yeah.
around and shit.
So what's your move now? What's your next move? What are you gonna try to do?
What am I going to try to do? Um, Basically, I'm just living life as much as I can. I hate living. I feel like I'm living a lie because I tell everybody around me that yeah, I'm just schizophrenic, or I just gonna try to live my life, I, as normal as possible, and I was forced to lay in sleep for weeks and be tortured, chalked everywhere, and like have rashes all over my body that I just, would bleed and would burn my chest. Like that was 24/7. And now, I mean, I sometimes will, cause pain here and there in my body. Um, but I just try to do everything I couldn't do before that I can kind of do now. So
Yeah, just try everything you can to be successful and try to stay determined and remain defiant. And don't believe anything a gang stalker's broadcasted voice tells you, because
oh
they
no,
have
I
no
mean
good
no, I mean
intentions. They definitely don't have any good intentions. Some
yeah,
people think that they're like their
I definitely
guardian
would
angels.
yeah, I don't, I wouldn't do that, but then you all of a sudden would try to make me believe them, and then it would happen. So I still try not to believe, even though it happens.
Right.
Um, so it's really hard. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to believe it because I don't want that. I don't want them to use it as a way to get to me later on. So I usually have to calm myself down, ignore what they're saying, don't ever talk back to them because that will cause more of, trying to keep you in your mind more than what you're doing, by
Right.
yourself. So definitely don't talk back to them at all.
I like to take away whatever it is that they like to do. I like to figure out a way to take that little advantage away from them. Whatever it is that they're using, I'll try to figure out a way to take that little move away from them. So it's always a little chess game, and it's very difficult when somebody knows what you're
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a game for me all the time, and I just have to play it right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I lose, and sometimes I don't.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're running out of time. So, is there a final statement you'd like to make?
Um, uh, Not really, not right now. I can't think of anything right now. But
Okay.
just, always remember who you are and let's try to get that back. Don't ever let this shit get to you, and, find meaning of life, basically, because it's already fucked up. You might as well live it right, and just don't ever give up because you'll get better. You just have to find ways to figure it out how to make it better.
That's good advice. That's good advice. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, everybody. Aisha from Oregon and Washington, and we'll see you guys next time. Um, it's actually a little dark in here. Hold on. Let's see if I can. Hold on, I'm working on my lighting situation. Let's see if I can get it more lit up. Sound like you got an airplane flying by or something. Okay, I guess I'm gonna just have to shine this light on me like this. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you want to? Is your phone propped up or are you holding it?
I'm holding it.
Okay, it'll probably be best if you propped it up. Like, do you have like a? Can you like lean it up against a cup or something? And then look, if you turn it, can you could see you could see the TV, right? With you on it.
What?
Can you see my TV with you on it next to me?
No.
You can't. What do you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So look, if you turn your phone sideways, it'll put you on full screen.
Shit.
Oh, you got to turn on auto rotate.
Auto rotate. Shoot. Okay. Let me see. How do I?
Just pull down.
Auto rotate.
Just pull down your top menu.
Okay. All right. Auto rotate. Portrait. Oh, there.
There.
Okay. All right. So how? Oh, you can't even see me, huh?
Yeah, I can see. I can see. I don't know if you can see me, but it's just the way that I have to have it set up. But did you try to turn this sideways now?
With this way?
Yeah, boom. See, now you're on full screen. It's shining
Okay.
on my face, kind of, but it's got shadows and shit. I really needed to be like above me, like that. So there's shadows, but I don't want to. I don't have no way to put it there like that. So,
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess I need some better lights up in here.